Estrella, and this is Virginia Perez. And we wanted to do a YouTube video today to talk to you about a miracle that God did in Virginia's life. She's going to talk to you about her ovarian cancer, complete curing and complete recovery of ovarian, stage 4 ovarian cancer. And we wanted to do this video so if anyone is out there and that hasn't been given a lot of hope, that you haven't been given a lot of any options for you medically, and that you think the only option for you is just to wait and have the sad outcome that medical doctors are telling you. We want to give you another possibility, that we want to tell you what's happened and what happened to Virginia so that it can give you hope and encouragement. So it's going to be a very short video, and then at the end I'll give you links to another video that I'm going to put out that will describe to you what you can do to receive a miracle and what you can do to pray for your miracle as well. So with that, we're going to start off, and this is Virginia. And if you want to just start off with when you found out that you had stage 4 ovarian cancer.
Yes, I was diagnosed on August 23rd, 2016, and with ovarian cancer, stage 4. And I was told that I needed to start my chemotherapy as soon as possible because of the advanced severity of the situation of the cancer itself. We couldn't wait, so they had to start me 2 days after I was diagnosed. It was very hard on me because one of the diagnoses they gave me, because of the area they found it in, they thought it was going to be lifetime chemo. And when I heard that, that made me very, very upset. And after the chemo, I came home, and it was hard the first couple of days, adjusting, my body adjusting to the chemo and everything. And
before you go on telling them like all the treatment that you received, like what prognosis did the doctors give you? Like, were they able to extend your life, and how, what were they telling you?
No, actually, my husband told me that I think there was a couple, later on he confessed, and he told me that the doctor had told me I was only going to have a couple of months left. I didn't know that part. I didn't know that I had a couple of months left. But yeah, that was part of that.
Well, what he told me was they didn't want to tell you that the doctors had told them that they would be able to extend your life, but they weren't going to give you more than 3 months because they felt that you were terminal. It was already in an advanced state. It had already spread to other organs.
Right.
Can you tell them about other organs that they found the cancer, or they thought the cancer was in?
They thought it had, it spread into the omentum too. So because it was spread into the omentum, it was going to be kind of like harder to treat in a sense. And they said that it might also spread into other organs around the ovaries, where the colon and the kidneys, I believe. I'm not sure all the organs itself. But I was told that when the operation was to happen, that they had to check around to see what other organs were affected.
Mm-hmm. So when you first found out you had cancer, that was the last thing that you thought that you had, right? Can you tell people who are looking, like, where were you, and how, what got you to go to the doctor, and what were you experiencing before they found out and diagnosed you?
I had a lot of stomach problems, stomach cramps, bloating, just uncomfortableness and fullness. Like my stomach was getting like bigger and bigger, and I didn't know what it was. So I had gone to the ER one time, and then I ended up going again. And the second time, that's what they took more x-rays, and they ended up draining fluid from my stomach and able to send it to pathology. And that's when they found that it was the tumor marker for ovarian cancer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And can you tell us, so then they went into prescribing a treatment of chemotherapy, and can you just tell people how often were you getting the chemo? What were they recommending?
The first treatment, it was a full dosage. It was pretty strong because they wanted to attack the chemo in the beginning, like with as much medicine as they could. And then after that, I was going every 3 weeks for chemo. Yeah, every 3 weeks I was going for chemo.
And you ended up, experiencing a lot of symptoms with the treatment.
Yes,
And
I mean chemo is a strong drug. It does affect your body. You lose your hair, you lose weight. You're super weak. One of my last chemos before surgery, they had to stop because my blood count was so low. So I went into the chemo into the oncologist's office, and they saw my numbers, and I left the oncologist's office with a mask because they said you can be walking around with a mask. So that day was the last chemo I had before surgery, and my surgery was scheduled on November 17.
can you tell us what the surgery, what are they going to do? What was their intervention surgically?
They were going to remove the omentum, and they were going to remove a total hysterectomy, which is removing the ovaries, the uterus, and the cervix, I believe. And the doctor had mentioned that the operation was going to take 8 to 10 hours, and they had to kind of move the organs around to move everything around to see where else the cancer had spread. And I was going to have an incision all the way up to my breast because they had to open me up. So that's
Okay.
kind of.
Can you tell us how your spiritual life changed since you got the diagnosis?
It
What
brought
happened?
me.
Like, what did you do?
What did I do? It brought me closer to God in the sense where there was more prayers done at home. I started going to church regularly, attending more masses, healing masses, and praying with my family and my relatives. That helped out a lot. It really comforted me, made me feel at peace. It gave me hope. And also a lot of people were praying for me. People I didn't even know. A lot of neighbors would come. A lot of donations starting to come in. And I was seeing God's work at hand with all these prayers coming in and all these blessings that we were getting. So I remember thinking, going into the operation room, knowing that He was going to be there with me. And that really, really comforted me, knowing that everything was going to be okay.
And can you, was there anything spiritually that you felt? Like, so I know going into the operating room, you didn't know what they were going to find, but they had already done some CT scans, right? That kind of was giving them some good news, right? Before you went in there?
Right. There was 2 kinds of x-rays done. It was a CT scan, and they saw some lesions around the pelvic area. And because the doctor wanted me to go into a clinical trial, they ended up doing an MRI also, just to kind of give them a better picture of where everything was, so it could help them out when it came to the actual surgery.
And what did they say with that?
Yeah, that they did see that my left ovary was swollen, and they saw lesions on my pelvis. So these x-rays were done like that week of the surgery, so maybe 2 or 3 days before surgery.
But this cancer was still showing in the x-rays and
There were spotty areas that they felt that there was still cancer there. So yeah, the lesions that they saw in the pelvic area, that was what they were able to see on the x-rays.
And spiritually, like, how do you know that? Was there anything that you felt spiritually as people were praying for you? Like, was there any time where you felt that God's hand was in your situation?
I mean, I did have people come over and pray, and they did say to me that I was going to be doing testimonies, and knowing that and hearing that gave me so much hope and comfort that Jesus was going to get me through this, and I was going to come out okay. So that really helped me in that sense.
Okay. So can you tell everyone about, when you found out and how you found out that you were cancer-free?
So, like I had said, the operation was going to be 8 to 10 hours. It turned out to be only 2 hours, 2.5 hours. My husband got the call from the nurse, and the nurse was telling him that everything was okay. And he told the nurse, okay, but he was waiting for the but, and the nurse told him, oh, just don't worry, she's fine. The doctor's gonna come out and talk to you in a little bit. And That's the way my husband found out that everything turned out fine. So after he found out everything was fine, he came to my bed, my operation bed, and he told me, like, honey, everything's fine. You know, they didn't find anything. And I remember nodding, and then he's like, honey, are you listening? Everything's fine. And I said, I know. And then he's like, how do you know? I'm like, because I have faith. I had faith that everything was going to be okay. And it turned out to be okay.
So did they did a biopsy as well, right? After?
Yes. They couldn't see this, like, I say
Visually?
Visually, they couldn't see the cancer on any parts of the organs they removed. So they had to send it to a lab to examine it some more. And they ended up cutting the ovaries. That was something they had never done, to examine it even further. And they still didn't find the cancer. So, City of Hope, my doctor told me they had never seen a case like mine's before in City of Hope. So,
Woo! That's so amazing. Because I know that as you were going through chemo and as people were praying for you, also you took the BRCA test, right? You had
yes.
the genetic
mutation BRCA2.
So you had positive for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And also when you were going through chemo and people were praying for you, there were significant changes, right, to the marker level, the ovarian?
Yes. The marker level was at 780. Normal for us should be from 0 to 20, and it dropped significantly to 300 by the first chemo treatment, and then to 150, and then to 80, and then to like 12 right before surgery. So it was dropping significantly through that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. What would you say to people who are listening to this video about, hope and about faith and about, what they can do to, have a miracle like what happened to you?
I think it's as simple as just believing and just having that faith and having that trust, undividing trust in Jesus that He's gonna come through, because He wants the best for all of us. He wants to heal us, but we gotta learn how to accept it, and we gotta look to Him. We gotta go find Him, through prayer, to going through church, to reading the Bible, whatever tool you think is gonna help you. We need to turn to Him. And any problem you have in life, physically, emotionally, whatever it is, you got to look for God first, and He's going to be there for you.
And do the doctors consider this a miracle?
They did tell my husband that to them it was they thought it was more of the chemo and the treatment they were doing. But my husband had asked the doctor, okay, so that's to you guys, but to me, is this a miracle? And one of the doctors said, yeah. But to them, because they're medical professionals, of course they're gonna say is the treatment that I had, but we all know who the main doctor was here.
Yeah, and it was Jesus.
It was Jesus, yes.
So hallelujah, and
yes,
glorify
praise,
God and
yes.
Jesus for what He's done to completely cure her of something that was just, a bad, news to receive, that you have stage 4 terminal ovarian cancer. And so I want to thank Virginia for telling her story to people and having other people hear, something that could happen in your life if you have any kind of cancer, ovarian, no matter what kind of news you've heard from physicians, no matter what prognosis you have, that you can always put your faith in God and in Jesus and what He's already done on the cross for your complete healing. So I'm going to put a link at the bottom of this video, and I want to walk you through, how you can build your faith and what you can do as you pray to help you along the way to receive a miracle as well. I have a lot of faith. I've seen miracles happen. I've seen darkness leave. I've seen, the demon fly and want to just get out of the way, because he knows that God, wants to do wants to do a miracle for you and for everyone. So I pray and others to pray for you, then I'll recommend that you look at that video. So thank you very much, Virginia, for your time,
and thank you for seeing this video, and I hope it helps anybody out there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.